If you've reached the Platinum rank in Rocket League, then congratulations, you are statistically above average, so give yourself a little pat on the back. However, many of you will want to push on further so you can be considered better than average, or dare we even say it, good at the game? Well, here we'll give you my 5 best tips to get you out of Platinum, and by the way, if you haven't seen my How to Get Out of Gold video yet, I'd recommend watching that one too, as there may be some useful information in there that you haven't thought about yet. If this video gets 500 likes, I'll also do a Diamond one as well. Similarly, if you're not in Platinum, this also might be useful for you, or you could send it to your Plat friends. So when we think about moving up a rank, we often think, okay, so what do I actually need to do? And for the Platinum to Diamond push, one of the biggest things you need to improve is less about what you need to do and more about what you need to not do. The biggest one of these issues is something that happens all the time, even up in champion level sometimes, and probably even higher than that too. And this issue is cutting across field to challenge the ball from the side. This is the #1 biggest mistake that I see Platinums make on a regular basis, and you may not even realise you're doing it until you have a look in the replay and notice yourself doing it. So just take a look at this example. This player hits the ball at their opponent, and at that point, their involvement in this play is over. They cannot do anything effective anymore. However, this player decides to challenge the ball again from the side, cutting in front of their oncoming teammate that we see on the left of the screen. So now we have a big double commit in midfield without any sort of productive play happening from this position. And the best explanation of this concept comes from a man who goes by the name of Gregan. He has an excellent series of short videos that he calls Tabletop Tactics, and I will link those in the description down below. The concept is basically to visualize a midline which you should not be crossing. And this midline should be between you and your teammate, and it just goes straight up the middle of the field. When you are on one side of this line, you should not cross over into the other side of it until you are past your teammate on the rotation. If you cut over this line to challenge the ball, it will do one of 2 things. The best case scenario is that it will just confuse the heck out of your teammate, probably cause them to have a double back on rotation, and probably cause them to waste some boost. What is more likely to happen though is that you will double commit with your teammate whose turn it is to push up, and that will just cause many more issues with your team positioning. You could bump each other, it could end up in you both challenging a ball and then it's just going to pop out into an awkward situation. You are much better off just completely ignoring the ball and continuing to rotate out, which brings us on nicely to tip number 2, far post rotations. Now the concept of far post rotations is not an exact science. Generally, as you move up to the higher ranks, you really don't want to be rotating all the way back to your goal every time. But it is a good habit to get into at this stage. Far post rotation essentially means rotating away from the ball in behind your teammates. The far post being the goalpost that is furthest away from the ball. The reason we do this is that it allows our teammate who has more view of the field to push onto the ball while you cover their butt. Far post rotations on defense are the best because by going to the far post rather than the front post, it allows you to cover the whole goal with your forward momentum, as it is much easier to defend what is in front of you than what is behind you, as I'm sure you have already found out by now. It also allows you to see way more of the field, giving you much more time to react to any potential developments in your opponent's play. Making a habit of making your play on the ball and then rotating away from it in behind your teammate, it's really good practice, and it will absolutely help you rank up. Seriously, it's kind of an OP strat at this level. And speaking of OP strats, we move on to tip number 3, which is training your awareness. And this is definitely one of the most OP things you can train, and I barely see anyone else ever talking about it. I have an old video, it's got some drills that you can use to train your awareness. And basically what I say in that video is what you want to do. You load up a casual 2v2 match. Once you are in the game, it is important that you do not focus on winning the game, scoring goals, or even playing well. Your primary focus will just be to take in as much information as possible using your eyes. The ball should just be in your peripheral vision at this point, and what I want you to do is to focus on your teammate the entire game. Focus on their position on the field and try to put yourself in a place to support that teammate. If the ball comes towards you, look for your teammate and see if you can put it in a position that suits them. This will train you to be a much better teammate, and you will find yourself blaming your teammates less as well, because you will be positioned in a place to compensate for any mistakes that they make. Once you have finished that match, it is time to switch things up a little bit. You will do exactly the same and go into another casual game, but this time, instead of focusing on your teammate, you will be focusing on your opponents. Watch their movement, look at what they're doing, where they're positioned, and see if you can put yourself in a position to deal with every eventuality that they're going to throw at you. These concepts will seem really alien and counterintuitive at first, but if you try these drills once or twice a week, I guarantee you will become a much better teammate and a much better player. And now we move on to something that is a little bit more fun for you to learn, and some of you may already know these, but we spoke in the gold episode about recoveries, but now it's time to get a bit more advanced with them by learning how to half flip and wave dash. Recovery mechanics are what I consider to be the most important mechanics in the game, and in particular, the method of landing on your wheels and utilising power slide. Watch the gold episode for that if you haven't already. But the more advanced recovery mechanics like half flips and wave dashes can really help you out when you get into a sticky situation. So what are these mechanics? Well, a wave dash is a way to get the speed from a flip without having to use a full flip. This means that you can remain on the ground for longer, giving you much more time and space to react to other things. Wave dashes are most effective when dismounting from a wall, in my opinion. I won't go into great detail on wave dashes and half flips, as there are a million tutorials out there that you can find on YouTube, but essentially a wave dash is where you perform the flip action while two of your wheels are on the ground. So if your back two wheels hit the ground and your front two wheels are off the ground, if you perform a forward dodge, this will slam your front wheels into the ground, giving you a speed boost of a forward flip, and you won't actually have the full flip animation. If you leave your left two wheels on the ground, for example, doing a right sideways dodge will do the same but using a sideways momentum. I would really recommend holding the power slide button when performing these wave dashes, particularly if you're using something like the sideways dodge, as it just means that you're going to carry that momentum a little bit more. The half flip is the fastest way to turn your car 180 degrees around. One thing I will say about half flips is that it is really beneficial to have at least one of the directional air roll buttons bound. That's either air roll left or air roll right. And again, I won't go into great detail as there are plenty of tutorials on this mechanic out there, but basically what you're going to be doing is cancelling a flip halfway through the animation so that your nose is pointing the opposite way than it was originally, and you do that by pushing the analog stick in the opposite direction to that of which you use for the initial dodge. Then you will use your either air roll left or air roll right button to rotate your car back on its wheels. Make sure that you use your boost once your car is facing the correct direction, because that will help you gain some valuable recovery time as well. And note that you can only do half flips on either forwards or backwards dodge. Sideways dodges don't work, and you probably wouldn't really need to anyway. And for our final tip of the day, we have backboard defending. One of the easiest ways to score in the ranks below platinum rank is just to roll the ball up from the corner and have a teammate put the ball in as it drops down in front of the goal. Once you get to platinum, you should really start learning to defend against this by utilising the backboard. If you see a play like the aforementioned developing, get yourself onto that backboard and get ready to clear the ball away. Again, this will be something that feels a little bit alien at first, kind of similar to the wall play that we went over in the gold episode, but it's a really key skill in making your way through the ranks. Otherwise, you're just going to have to concede the same goals over and over again, coming in from the corner and dropping in front of your net. There are some really great training packs for defending the backboard, and I will put the codes to these in the description down below, and I'll repeat that, in the description below. I see Thanovik's comment section's absolutely plagued by people asking where the codes are when he very clearly states where they are in the video, so check the description for those. Also, just before you go, I wouldn't be a YouTuber if I didn't beg for subscribers, so here's that graphic that says statistically only a small amount of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, blah 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 blah. So do whatever you like, but I definitely appreciate it. It's free and whatnot. Now this video contains quite a lot of information and it can probably be a bit overwhelming, so I would definitely recommend going away and trying a couple of the steps from the video and then coming back to rewatch and learn again, because Platinum is a rank that you will see a pretty steep rise in skill level, so some of these things will take a little while to actually sink in. But there we have it. Those are my 5 top tips to get out of Platinum in Rocket League. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this helps you make that push into Diamond. It certainly should do, as these are the skills that I use to get into Diamond and beyond. That'll just about do it for this one, so take care of yourselves, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!